the lower lip still going. Now these are shank bits, a Liverpool type bit. If any of you have ever had a horse that you were riding or handling that you couldn't handle, yeah, let's get it up. You can imagine what it's like when you've got these guys, and there are two of them, and they decide they want to do something you don't want them to do. Most of our horses are real good, probably don't need to be all the way down on the end of the bit, but we are. Because it's there if we need it. We don't want to be pulling on this guy and not have it when we want it. Hang on a second. Curb chain, not very tight, just nice and loose, but again, there if you need it. We don't have overchecks on these horses because we just got these harnesses and we went to adjust them. The overchecks were too short. Normally we would have an overcheck on most of our teams. Pardon? No, just an overcheck. Right, well, up here, right through here. What was I going to say? You may have heard a year ago, the 4th of July, out in Iowa, a pair of horses ran away in a parade, killed a lady who was on the carriage, and killed a small child who was in the audience. As we understand it, what happened was the horses one horse rubbed the bridle off the other. When you're out there riding, it's not a big deal. I mean, if your horse loses a bridle, then you get off and or whatever. Chances are they wouldn't lose a bridle. The most dangerous time, if you're driving a team of horses, in my opinion, is when they're standing together. Especially if it's hot, if they're sweating, if they have bugs on them, because they will rub on each other. And they will rub the bridle right off. You lose the bridle on one of these horses, you've lost control over both of them. Okay? All right, put them together. A lot of people think that we have one rein for the right-hand horse, which is called the off horse, and we have one rein for the left-hand horse, which is called the near horse, or the old-timers would call it the nigh horse. Not true. You have one line, and I call them reins. I'm old school. They're supposed to be called driving lines, so all of you driving people out there saying, he should be calling them lines. I call them reins because I'm older than dirt, and that's what my dad would have called them. But they're driving lines, technically. You have one line for the right side of each horse, one line for the left side of each horse. The most important thing you can do if you're driving or riding a horse is you've got to keep contact. That horse has to know what it is you want, and the only way the horse can know is through those reins. Now, if you're on their back riding them, you also have your seat, you have your knees, you have your spurs, or whatever. Here you have none of that. So all you have here are your fingers on those reins. I had somebody this summer start to drive, and supposedly was a veteran driver, supposedly somebody who knew what they were doing, and they were driving with this big loop in their line. And I kept saying, you've got to maintain contact. We also, as we're doing our thing up there, we're also turning and talking to the passengers, so it becomes kind of a tricky multitask.